officers do not hit guys that look like me. They take orders from people. And police officers cannot wear a tie because they take orders from people with ties. All right? So you can control them partially just with the way you dress. All right? And then verbal direction. Well, what do I do when I arrive at a place like this? First thing I do is I identify the police officer in charge, okay? And I walk up to him, I extend my hand, and I say, Jerry Boyle, National Lawyers Guild, let me know if you have any problems. What have I just done? I have done physical presence, verbal direction, empty hand control. I got 2 steps ahead of him. All right? Now, people usually ask me, well, yeah, you're a lawyer, you're a corn-fed white boy, you know, that's you. Use your imagination, okay? Use your imagination. I heard, for instance, that some religious people got arrested today. You know, one of the most powerful uniforms you can wear is a Roman collar, or a nun's habit. Okay? I've used that when I'm not being a lawyer on a street action. Man, you are totally bulletproof in those things. Nobody's going to touch you. You know, I've got a friend who's really mercenary about that. All right, who does he send out to talk to the police? He'll take pretty girls and put them in pink bunny costumes. A cop gets some pretty girl in a pink bunny costume. Hi, officer, what can I do? What's he going to do? What's he going to do? Is he going to hit that? Use your imagination, all right? Use your charm, okay? You always want, again, unless you want to get arrested, you always want to keep them below empty hand control and bewildered. They want compliance. Compliance doesn't mean obedience. Really, a demonstration of compliance is usually enough. Okay? I don't know. The other day, some guys from Occupy Chicago came to me, all right, and they're like, what's this thing about not sleeping on the sidewalks? Well, that is the ordinance. On the other hand, I just came from the coffee shop, and I know the guy who sells me the coffee has been hanging out here, so I asked him, have you been over there lately? And he said, yeah, I slept there last night. Okay? And it's like, if the police officer says don't sleep here, don't say, no, I have a right to sleep here, fuck you. Say, yes, officer. Okay? And, that didn't stop this guy from spending the night here last night. Lip service. Okay? Lip service is cheap, and it's the most effective demonstration of compliance. All right? Use your body and your words to disarm a police officer. My standard stance for dealing with a police officer is, hi, officer, what can I do? Do you have a problem? What am I doing? Nothing in my hands. Okay, hey, that matters to them. That matters to them. They never know if you got a gun in your hands. But if you show them, nothing in my hands, hey, is there a problem? Can I help you solve it? Now, let's talk about if you're going to get arrested. And, sometimes you're going to get arrested even though you don't expect it. And here, self-control is really, really important. Okay? Because it's a strange thing. Most Americans, we're not used to having our liberty restricted. We're not used to being deprived of our liberty. And to be deprived of it's something we take for granted. How many people here have been arrested before? Okay, so you've got an idea. It does spiritual violence to you, okay? And it really hurts your head, all right? All the more reason to be extremely careful, all right? Because when the police get to empty-hand control, all right, things can get really ugly if you're not careful. All right, I'll use an example. But probably the simplest way a police officer is going to gain control of you is as follows. Hey, would you mind coming over here? All right. Typically, if they're not trying to be a jerk, okay, or they don't feel threatened, they're going to do this. A hand on the upper arm. All right? They know what they're doing. This is a good way to get physical control of somebody at a very low level. All right? Because the kinetics of human movement give you a lot of control over the person. You can throw them off balance. All right? So, but empty hand control is anything with empty hands. It can be a punch, it can be a tackle, it can be a kick. All right? They're generally, in circumstances like this, going to start with something simple like this. All right? Understand that when somebody grabs your arm, it's almost reflexive to pull away. And especially if they grab it in kind of a nasty way, if he's in a bad mood, you just became a resistor. Okay? You just became a resistor by pulling away. This is what I mean by serious self-control. All right? I'm not, it's up to every individual whether they want to be a resistor. All right? But understand what you're doing. All right? If you pull away, you're now a resistor, and the rule is they're supposed to stay one step ahead of you. Empty hand control didn't work. Out comes the pepper spray. All right? And the way these things can go bad, empty hand control doesn't work. The pepper spray comes out in your eyes. That shit hurts. You flail your arms. You just committed battery on a police officer. Okay? Then you're down on the pavement, face down with the knee in your back, charged with a felony. All right? So, if you're in a situation where you intend to get arrested, or in a situation where you're getting arrested, even though you didn't intend to, it's really important that you maintain control of that encounter. All right? And you maintain control of that encounter by controlling your own body. All right? And if you don't want it to escalate, when they put their hands on you, be real firm and stand still. If you want to escalate, go ahead. Pull away. All right? It's your choice. You guys make your own choices. All right? But if you don't want it to escalate, submit. Some people will say, for instance, go limp. Going limp is a little dangerous. You're a passive resistor at that point. They're usually not that bad on passive resistors, but you're going to have people pick you up and carry you. And understand that what's going on with this, all right? Most of those guys do not disagree with your political agenda, all right? But most of those guys became police officers to fight violent crime and not to mess around with political stuff. So generally, if you see bad attitude from a cop at a situation like this, it's not that he hates your agenda. It's like, you people are wasting my time and keeping me from doing real political work, all right, or real law enforcement work, all right? So sometimes they will create resistors, all right? And for instance, grab your arm in such a way that you're virtually guaranteed to pull away because they want to escalate. And that's a big risk with a passive resistor. Just go limp. They're empty hand. I broke it down into simple levels, but each one of those levels is very complicated with lots of sub-levels. They teach pressure points. Okay? Say the cop who's carrying you away is just pissed off and not happy that he's dealing with this. He does a pressure point. You're going to go from limp to, all right, now you're an active resistor and he gets to hit you. All right? Understand those things happen. All right? So it's really important that you choose the interaction you want, and whatever that is. You have the right to be a resistor if you want to, although the penalties go way up. All right? you decide. Don't let them decide it for you, and don't let it happen accidentally by acting reflexively. All right? Maintain control of your body. Determine how you want the police officer to deal with you. Okay? I think that's a pretty good introduction. I mean, I could spend 2 hours doing this, and I've done it, all right? But you guys have had a long day, and I wanted to give you the basics. So remember, strategy. It's political, not primarily legal, all right? It's low-intensity warfare. That's the bad news. Good news is they don't know how to win, okay? And then tactics, remember the matrix. And the good thing about the matrix is their behavior is a function of yours. All right? And even a cop who's out of control, I found, all right, that if I work the matrix with them, I mean, they really do train them on this very heavily. And sure, cops do go off their training. But if I get them on the matrix, it becomes almost robotic. Okay, if you get them on the matrix, it's hi, Officer Jerry Boyle, National Lawyers Guild. It's like, oh, okay, you know, and you want to keep them on the matrix, and you want to keep control of the interaction. Politically, again, you guys are doing a great job. I mean, the way you're handling yourselves, the way you're governing yourselves, all right, you're doing everything right, reaching out to other groups. It's called net wars. All right, because it's all about networks and networking with other groups. All right, all of the criticisms you're hearing about yourself, well, you're not organized. Well, disorganized is a scary thing. Okay, you're not sending a consistent message. Confusion is your friend. All right, you know, there's no structure here. A horizontal organization looks at a vertical organization, and the vertical organization gets vertigo and collapses. Okay? Build your networks. I'm not going to preach to you about how you organize yourselves because you're already doing a great job of it. Build your networks. The guild is part of your networks. All right? We're one of the things that you can reach out to. Okay? We got a limited number of lawyers. We can do certain things for you. We send legal observers out there. We'll negotiate with the police for you, although you got really good police liaisons, all right, and they do a very good job at it. They instinctively know the matrix. I didn't even have to teach it to them, okay? They do a very good job of it, all right? But we can, if we've got a serious legal issue to deal with, we'll deal with it. We provide observers. If you get arrested, we'll come to the lockup for you, all right? If you get charged with the crime, we'll have to talk. Well, no, I mean, like in New York, 700 people arrested. We can't handle that. Okay? We just can't. All right? That you'll either get the public defender or we'll recommend people. All right? So understand that. Let's see, what else did I want to say? Pardon? Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about that. What, you know, actually to prepare for arrest, all right? There's a couple of good things to do. Somebody else should know your name, okay? Frequently, it's a good idea to have buddies, all right? Somebody else should know your name because if you get arrested, I can't go to the police station and say, I want to see that guy who got arrested. I got to give him a name. I got to give him a name. All right, and that's also sometimes you hear people giving advice. Non-cooperation with the police. Don't give them your name. You don't give them your name, you're just going to sit in there. Okay, and they might run your prints and figure out who you are anyway. All right, but some people do that. It's your choice. All right, they're not going to let you out until they figure out who you are. All right, but somebody should know your name. All right, it's a good idea. I noticed a lot of people have been writing our phone number, our hotline number on their arms. They will give you a phone call at some point, but usually somewhere far into the process after you've been arrested. Good idea to call us to let you know where we are. that phone number we were using, and I think